Welcome to the G Spot Experience. I see like I'm freezing up a little. Bear with me. I don't know why I've been having technical difficulties. What is going on with this studio platform? All right, so it is Authors Brew Friday, and I am super excited because I have a guest with me in studio that we have been talking about this for so long, and she is finally here. And so, as you come in, make sure you let us know that you're here. We're going to give it a moment. Just let us know you're here. We're going to be talking with this special guest, Miss Dianna Knox-Cooper. And I am so excited because when I say excited, Dianna has been with me for over 10 years, well over 10 years. I want to say more like 12, 13, 14. And so she is definitely family. She has been so instrumental with helping to refer people to the business, to the publishing company, helping others get their stories out there. And we just built a bond in a relationship, a sisterhood. So I'm excited to have her here because we're going to talk a little bit about her 3-book inspirational trilogy. In sometimes painful, but you know what? Yesterday's message, we talked about your story heals. This is an extension of that message from yesterday. So I am super excited to bring Dianna in. We have Wendy here. Eagle Scout. Welcome. Thank you for chiming in for Author Brew Friday with Miss Dianna Knox-Cooper. Let me get Dianna in the studio because, like I told her, this is just about a conversation. 2 girls talking, and we just gonna get into it. And now I'm gonna advise you in advance. Let me bring her in. But I'm gonna advise you, you might want to have some Kleenex because for some reason we always have a tendency of shedding a tear or two. We be having those G-spot moments, those experiences. God be all up in our business, right? Dianna, welcome.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Germaine. Thank
I
you
am
so
so
much.
glad we're having coffee today. Well, I'm drinking
Yes,
coffee and you're
I'm
drinking your
drinking
tea.
tea.
So whatever you guys have, you're sneaking away at your job, you're tuning in for this coffee break, and we're gonna have some tea and coffee with Miss
Yes,
Dianna Knox-Cooper. So
thank you so much.
this is how I want to open this up, Dianna. What happens when the story of your pain becomes the path to someone else's healing? Because that's what your story did for a lot of people. When we put the first book out, Hate It Without a Cause, that's what we're calling today's brew, Hate It Without a Cause. So you guys know how we do. We take a pause and we pour into purpose. And I also want to say, hey, Jessie Moss 92775. Thank you, my sister, for always being here for coffee, for the coffee break. So, Dianna, let's really
Yes,
get into this because your story. Remember when we first put Hated Without a Cause out and what we did? We pulled a map out and we started mapping where everybody was being blessed by your story around the country and even internationally.
yes.
And the thing is, you never thought it would reach that far.
I never thought it. I never thought it. I was just absolutely amazed.
Let's
Even
talk
today.
about the journey. Yeah, because you've had a journey even starting out, Dianna, because
Yes,
it was the book that almost wasn't.
that's right. You're exactly right.
Tell us about it. Good morning, Leslie. Let's just say hi to Leslie. Leslie, just so you know, and I always got to give her a shout out. She was my first number one best-selling author. And you know what? She is part of the reason why every book after her literally becomes a bestseller.
Congratulations.
Hey, Leslie. But Leslie, thank you for chiming in. We have my girlfriend Dianna Knox-Cooper in the studio with us, and she has a 3-book trilogy. But she's going to talk about her journey and why I stress to you all the importance of your story healing people. Dianna, let's talk about your journey and how it was the book that almost wasn't.
Well, Howard was the book that almost wasn't. It took me about probably a little over 10 years to actually write it. And just because whenever you're writing, you relive what I did. I had to relive everything that I was writing. And because a lot of parts of my story was painful, it was so hard to get past that point.
Mm.
And then the more I wrote, the more I read, the easier it became.
Yeah.
And so once I got to the very end, because I had no idea how it was going to end until I actually got there. And I remember when I got to the end and I didn't feel any pain when I finished. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the end of the book.
Wow.
And I was so excited about getting it published. I reached out to this publishing company and they had my hopes way up high. Submitted my book to them, paid them. They came back to me with a lot of, it wasn't negativity, but it was a lot of stipulations because of everything that my book entailed. And they were not willing to publish it under my name
Mm.
or the way it was. So they said to me, well, you can write under an alias and we'd be able to publish it, or you can change the content. So I knew that I wasn't going to change the content because changing the content would have made the book not true. And then writing under an alias, no one would know that it was from me. I couldn't take credit for it, and then I wouldn't be able to like do things like this, be on TV, be on the radio. Couldn't have book signings saying that I was the person. I would just have to say it wasn't my story, or I would say it's somebody that I know. And I knew
Yeah.
that it was very personal for me. And so I remember I had met you, Germaine. Um, it was at a conference in Douglas at Pastor Don T. Jones Church. Shout out to her
Douglas,
in
Georgia.
Douglas, Georgia. Yes, many years ago.
Many,
And
many
I
years.
knew, yeah, and I knew that that you had published a book for her. So I searched. I said, let me find that book because I know if Pastor Jones' book can get published with what her story was, then Germaine could publish mine. So
Wow.
late one night, I went and found your number, and it was during the winter time. I remember the internet was bad, and I tried reaching out. I still couldn't get in contact with you for some reason or another. And so after I did, like I said, I submitted my book to the other company, and they finally, I wasn't willing to change what they wanted me to change. So I felt like I know that I didn't go through all of this for anything. I
Absolutely.
remember laying on my bed. It was about between 10:30 or 11 o'clock one night, and I was lying there, and I felt like I was in this dark hole. I was like, Lord, I have gone through this. I have gone through all of this pain, all of these, um, and I would like to say sleepless nights because sometimes I would be up all night writing, and I said, Lord, I know that you didn't have me to go through all of this just for myself, even though going through it was a part of my healing, but I knew that it was for somebody else as well. I just knew it. I had to tell my story to help somebody else. So I was laying on my bed one night and your name came to me again. So I got the book. I said, I'm going to try her one more time. I'm thinking I'm just going to call the number and leave a voicemail. Between 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, I call and Germaine answers the phone. And when I tell you at that moment, I felt as if I was in this dark hole with no light at all. So I'm talking to Germaine. I'm sharing with her what all I've been going through with this publishing company that I had paid over $2,000 to. And they were not going to publish my book unless I made those changes that they asked me to. I'm talking to Germaine and she says, don't change anything.
That's right.
Send it to me just like it is. And when I tell you, It was just like somebody striking a match at the end of a tunnel
Mm.
that particular night. I was like, oh my God, this is it. She's going to do it. She said, send everything to me. Send me the picture you want on the front of it. Because the other company had told me, if you use another picture, you're going to have to get the person's permission who took the picture. That picture was taken back in 1974, 75. There was no way that I could contact the company. They had no idea who it was. Needless to say, I submitted everything to Germaine. She guided me on how to retrieve my monies that I had already paid to the other company, how to get them back, and then sent everything to her. And my book was exactly how I wanted it to be. This is the first time I've ever been able to tell this without going into tears because
Girl,
it's
you
just
always
so.
you always
If,
mess.
if a person can know exactly where I was at that moment in my life, and it took that long for me to finally get the story out, and then for somebody to tell me they couldn't do it.
They wanted to rob you of your story, what you
Yes,
lived, you
yes,
know? Even your name, your identity, and what
yes,
you have gone through.
yes, absolutely. It was terrible. I mean, but anyway, by the grace of God, I got with you, Germaine, and not only that, and I want to mention my editor. When my editor was actually editing the book, I received a testimony from her that she was receiving her healing just by editing it. So I know that was God ordained. It had to be you and nobody else.
Yes, yes.
It had
Phyllis
to be you.
Bridges. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Phyllis Bridges. Yes,
I
it had to be
remember
you.
I remember how it
Yes,
was a godly connection.
yes,
And the amazing thing, the bond that you 2 had started forming
yes,
out of your story,
yes,
and her being able to tap in your pain, your struggles, to even receive her own healing in some regards.
yes,
It was and that's
yes,
just the tip of the iceberg, Diana. That first book had blessed so many people around the world, and the testimonies that they were sharing with you. Literally, it's like I told y'all to have some tissues.
yes. It brings me to tears when I think about it. Yeah.
Because the
That's what
one thing
kind
I always say, and I just said it yesterday in the coffee break when we talked about your story heal,
of-
we sometimes think that nobody wants to hear our story. Our
right.
story is not good enough. What I've gone through, nobody wants to hear about that. People got their own problems. But you fought for your story, the right to
Mhm.
tell your story the way you know your story. You fought for that. You fought for your identity to be able to put your name on your story and not have
Yes,
somebody take that from you.
that's right.
And it is hard because, like yourself, I get a lot of authors that have these stories with these publishing companies, and it's heartbreaking what they've
It
had to
is.
go through, like yourself, to be able to tell your story,
Yes.
you know? And if I can say thank you so much, I see others are chiming in. Vanessa Ellis McGuire, Charlotte Singleton. Kudos to you staying true to your story, Diana. We
Thank
have
y'all.
Dr. T, Dr. Tenaria Drummond Smith is
Yes.
someone you referred to me
Yes.
years ago.
Yes. Many
And
years ago.
I told y'all, Diana has been a cheerleader and a champion for HOV Publishing
I have.
for years. She has blessed this ministry. I call it a ministry, my assignment. She has blessed this publishing company, bringing voices just like herself to the world. And
Yes.
so thank you. Thank you, everyone, for chiming in. And also on Instagram, let me say Thomas Lott, who was one of our guests in studio, who talked about his story and had people in tears. You know,
Yes.
Jesse just wants to say, my sisters are amazing. Coffee breaks help me Um, hope. Oh, God is so amazing. Yes. So, but Dianna, let's get back to it because out of your story,
Yes,
what you have gone through, in the beginning, the one thing you said also, reliving your trauma, going back through the pain of your past as a little girl, you found so much healing in going through and writing your story. And then being bold enough to be vulnerable before the world and tell your story. But it took years for faith and healing to align with those that were a part of your story.
that's right.
Let's talk about it
That's right.
because the power in one story, even when people want to resist and push back and push against it and fight it to not come out, I want you to listen to Diana's story. And it took years for faith to work its magic.
That's absolutely correct. So as I stated, with writing the book, I had to relive a lot of things. And there were some parts of the book that I wrote that I didn't even realize that I was hurting about until I started writing about it. And just writing it, I would pray every day, every time before I would write. And I just prayed and asked the Holy Spirit to write through me. And even though sometimes I was angry, I never wanted the anger that I was feeling to show through in my writing. And so I stayed very prayerful, praying. And as I was going through the book, I learned through that process all of the pain that I had suffered from people who I thought or who were supposed to love me, that I had to forgive them in that process. And I think that was one of the main things that I it was like a person, you want to hold on to the pain so that you can have something or hold something over a person's head, and I
Yes.
think a lot of people may um may do that. It feels like if you're holding on to something, I don't know if you can, if you would, I'm trying to think of the right word to say. You want that person to admit what they did to you. And you think that
Yes.
by them admitting it, it would make you feel better. But I'm a living witness that it does not have to be that way. You can move past that pain and live your life without them ever apologizing to you. But it's a choice within you.
Yes.
And that's what I had to go through in writing my book. It was a very, I did have a very traumatic childhood. And some of the people who were a part of the pain, I rebuilt relationships with. And that's only by the grace of God, because I was able to let the unforgiveness go, let the bitterness go, to let the anger go, because I wanted to free myself. I was holding myself in bondage by holding those things against those persons.
Wow. Yeah. So, you were so vulnerable in sharing your first story that you decide to continue in your second book, The Purifying of the Fire. So
Yes,
let's venture into that because there's some amazing testimonies that you have, especially with the relationship between you and your dad.
that's
And
correct.
and um and so let's talk a little bit about book two.
Book number two. So, book number two is actually a continuation of book number one.
Hmm.
And in book number one, where I talk about the pain of my childhood, and so book number two kind of talks about the residue, I should say, of the pain that I dealt with as a child, and how the residue of that pain filtered into my marriage. So, book number two, I really talk about how the relationship between my husband and I, and how I treated him as my husband. In book one, I talk about how I grew up in a female dominant home. So, of course, when I got married, I'm thinking that that was the way things were supposed to be. So I began to treat my husband as if he was my child rather than my husband, if that makes sense. I
It
was the
does.
boss and it was everything goes in my house. And if people that know me know that we broke up, we break up, we get back together, break up and get back together. And I was at my wit's end with, okay, I'm tired of this. Lord, please show me myself. Is it something that I'm doing the reason why we can't stay together? And I just want to caution people, whenever you ask God to show you yourself,
Ooh.
be open and ready to receive what he's about to show you if you really want to know. I did not like what I saw. Didn't like what I saw at all. And I think another reason, because I did not receive the love from my dad as a child that I feel like I should have received from him, I was looking for that love in other men.
Yeah.
And my husband would often tell me, you know, that he wasn't my dad and he couldn't be at those standards, the standards that I had for my dad. He couldn't meet them. It was two different things. And so, but God showed me who I was. He showed me what a hypocrite I was. And me being a Christian and how I was acting was not the right way for me to be in my marriage. And that's where I really delve into it. And I actually share two personal letters in that book that my husband actually wrote to me
Hmm.
because I just refused to hear him. And he thought the only way that I can get everything out is if I write it down on paper, she'll read it. And it was amazing. I just thank God for it. I thank God for it.
It's interesting. You said something and it made me think about even, the broken relationship I had with my dad and finding myself always in search of relationships trying to save quote unquote my dad, you know? And I
Mhm.
remember my husband said to me, I am not your project. You
Right,
don't have to save me.
right,
It just hit me like, dang,
right.
I'm still doing
Yes,
that,
yes,
So, but thank God for him, your husband,
yes,
standing firm, knowing if we get past all of this, I know the queen that I have, right?
yes, yes,
So,
honey. 35 years and holding.
yes, yes.
Yes,
Yes. And sometimes you got to go through stuff to come out on the other side, to come out better on the other side. And you know what? I think I just talked my husband up right now. He's calling like, does he not know I'm in my live right now? Okay, babe, I'm in my live right now. I hear. Bye, babe. He knows every day at 10:30, but he still forgets.
we still forget. Yeah, but we so grace.
But it's a story that so many people can identify with. One,
Right,
when you say, God, show me me, you
right.
absolutely right. When God, that's some powerful words to ask
It
God.
is.
So you
That's
better
right.
be prepared when
That's
you
right.
ask for that in prayer,
That's right.
because
Yes.
God has a way of stripping you
Ooh, honey,
all the way down
all the way down, and I was
and building
stripped.
you back up. Let me tell
Yes,
you, really show you your ways, but it takes a certain heart and humility within
yes.
oneself. To one, you got to forgive yourself. Two, you
That's
got to be
right.
open to receive when God shows you you.
That's right, honey.
And
It was
because
not a pretty picture.
he knows where he needs you to be.
Yes.
But aren't you grateful that you were able to go through that process to see oneself? I know I was.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Because I realized at that time that, I blamed a lot of things on my husband, but it was me. I could say I would have single handedly destroyed my marriage. myself.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
Even the grace. So think about the grace. You just said 35 years. You guys
Yes.
are celebrating 35 years. So thank God he knows us better than we
Yes.
know ourselves
That's
because he
right.
knows the foolishness, he knows the mistakes, he knows all of that. But to be able to extend the grace and the mercy while we are in a place of not even knowing ourselves.
Not even knowing. I
And
didn't
what
know.
what God put together, let no man set us.
No man put asunder.
Exactly. So I mean, it's like I appreciate you so much because you were so vulnerable, telling
Yes.
the good, the bad, the ugly, the wins, the
That's
loss,
right.
the
Yeah.
pains, the rejection. You were just, here I am.
Yeah.
And that was a part of
Open
God's
book.
thing,
Right.
allowing you to become so naked before not even so much the world, but before Him. So
Before
He
him.
can, just like your third book, Living on the Potter's Wheel, you begin to be moldable clay on
Yes.
God's potter's wheel.
That's right.
Now we're talking about
That's
the third
right.
book. We're gonna get a little bit into the third book, which is coming out this fall.
Yes, it
So,
is.
but Diana, before you get there, I know your dad is no longer with us,
Yes.
but God gave you the desires of your heart through this book, through your story. And I hope you all are really seeing the power of your story. It heals.
It
So
does.
Diana, I want you to share if you're open. I mean, you've been open about everything in these books. I want you to really be able to share whatever parts of the journey of just the beautiness, even when it wasn't beautiful, but at the end, before your father transitioned, that you guys had an opportunity to really be able to come together.
So, in book three, and I haven't even shared this with you yet, Germaine. You're finding out live as everybody else is. But in book three, I really talk about different different things that happened in my life, different lessons that I learned through different relationships, how even forgiving people even more so
Yeah.
as things were happening to me day to day. And God would remind me, you got to forgive. You got to forgive. So, and that's basically what book three was talking about. In book three, I do answer a lot of questions that were answered in book one. So if you read book one and you wondered, well, why this didn't happen, or why, or how did they meet, and all of that, all of
Mhm.
those questions are answered in book three.
Mm.
Prior, my book was supposed to be released, excuse me, prior to my father's passing, actually in August of 23, well, July of 23. Germaine and I had gotten back together, and I was about to get ready to even started with Phyllis with the editing process and everything. And my father got sick. And so I just laid the book down. I was like, okay, now is not the time. After my dad passed, and I'll get back to that in a minute, but after he passed, I toiled with, should I change the ending of book three, or should I just leave it the same and have a book four? So, Germaine, you're finding out there is going to be a book number four,
You can't call this a trilogy no more.
because I really thought that it was going to be it. I was like, oh my gosh, I thought this was going to be the end of it. Now I got to write a book number four. It's going to be titled 1111. There's a
Ah,
reason for that. Yes.
yes, they have to
So
read it
you're
to
just
find
finding
out.
that out. So I decided to go ahead and leave book three. Book three's ending
Yeah.
like it ended. So in book four, I'm praying to God that book four is going to be the wrap up, because I'm telling you, when you I- when you have these highs and lows, and you're happy today, and then something happens tomorrow and it brings you back down, then you got to work your way back up again, and I feel like that's how it's been with these books, because I really thought book number three was going to be it.
I
And
know.
so book number three, mine and my dad's relationship was still that rocky. up and down roller coaster, up and down, up and down. And so I can say, and I will say this, that and I'm not spoiling anything because you'd have to read to find out what happened. Um, I'll say this to everybody who's read the first two books. My dad believed me. He believed me.
Wow. They definitely will have to read books 1, 2, and 3 to understand what
Right.
she means by that. But when she just said that, it for me, it was like that was a weight off of
Yes.
you.
Yes.
That was a huge, huge accomplishment that just allows me to see how God is all in your stories,
Yes.
to give you the desires of your heart.
Yes.
So this is what Vanessa Ellis McGuire says, patiently waiting on book 3, 4, 5, 6, and
Oh
beyond.
wow. Come on
And
now.
you know what, Vanessa? Thank you for that because my mind was saying, as long as she's living, her
Cool
story's still
child.
being written.
Cool child.
A whole entire library.
Yes. It's been a journey, but I thank God for it, because everybody's born for a purpose, and I believe this is mine, to be able to just share real life things. A lot of things that I've gone through, people have called, text, email, um, oh, I went through this, and I don't know how to thank you so much. And so many testimonies that I've gotten over the years from both book 1 and book 2. And I know it's been a long time coming. And I appreciate my readers for being patient with me. Writing it's not easy. It's painful.
Mhm.
It's not easy. And it does take time. And then there's the right time, the divine time for things to happen. And I do believe that I'm in my divine timeline for all of this to happen. And so that
Absolutely.
makes the difference. I'm so sorry, y'all.
No, no, you're fine. I also want to say Hannah Christine, she gives you well, she's excited for you with book number 4 coming out because she popped up when you talked about the new book, number 4.
Yes. So there is
And
a number 4.
yes, and Tenaria says beautiful testimony. And
Thank
so
you. Thank you,
I tell you,
Tenaria.
you're absolutely right. Timing is everything
Yes.
because I know book 3 was slated, like you said, in 2023 while your father was still here.
Right.
Wasn't time for it. God was still writing.
He was. Oh my
Right.
God. Was he? Wait
Yes.
till 11/11 comes out.
Oh my gosh. Oh
Just
my gosh.
wait.
No, you cannot get a sneak peek right now because we have to put out book 3. So
Right.
trust me, she is family. She will be back to talk about 3 and 4. And then she's gonna drop on us that book 5 is around the corner.
Honey. Hopefully, I don't know. Only God knows. But
Only God knows.
it's
She's
been
just
a blessing,
so
though. It's been a
excited.
blessing to me. And I thank God for choosing me for this task, you know,
Absolutely.
and
Ab
I'm willing. I'm a willing vessel. I'm excited and I love the Lord. And I thank God for what He's doing in my life. I really do. I'm
Listen,
blessed. And I just thank God for it.
we talked even after book 1. We talked about intimate conversations with
We
Dianna Knox.
did. We
Do you
did.
remember that?
Yes.
So she can have these moments just like we're having right now on the G Spot Experience coffee break. Hey, with your girl Germaine, right?
Yes. Yes.
But we
Yes.
talked about this, and you know what? It's never too late because I think you definitely need your platform because there are so many people that people will never even know that
That's
connect
right.
with you and that your story has been the reason for them to take a stance and start the healing process in their own life. So you giving them a platform to be able to, hey, exactly what we're doing. Just
Right.
talking about it and giving them space to talk about theirs because that's what you've done for so many people, you know? So
Yes.
I'm just putting it on the
I know.
atmosphere
I hear you.
soon. So me and her, we're gonna talk about it because one way or the other, she gonna be out here talking about this story so others can join in while she inspiring others to share their stories through their pains and their traumas.
Yes.
So, and then I not to put her business all out in the street, but she made such a power move not too long ago, really taking her life back, her time, her power, taking a stance, and
I
now
did.
she's on her own time.
I am.
So you don't freed up sometimes.
I freed up a lot of time, honey. By the grace of God, I
Won't he
did.
do it?
He won't he do it. It's the best decision I ever made. The
Yes, you
best,
feel
the
free.
absolute best decision. Yes, honey. Ooh, Jesus. Yes,
Hey, and I know you guys, if you don't know, yes, she freed up her time. She now owns her time
I
on her
do.
time to do what she wants to do, not
Go ahead
somebody
and do it.
else.
That's right. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right.
Yep, Charlotte
I
gives
love
you
it.
all the claps, right? That's what I'm talking
I
about.
love it.
Take
I
your
love it.
power back.
God is good.
Take your power back.
Amen.
Well, you know
Amen.
what? Let me just open up so we can share the book on the screen. I know I've been talking. Hold on one second. Let me just bear with me, guys, because we want to give you an opportunity to let me pull this up. Hold on the screen. Okay, hold on. Give okay, I'm trying to populate it right now. Bear with me, but I'm trying to pull it up because I really want you guys to have an opportunity to. All right. I don't know why this thing is taking so long. Hold on. All
Well,
right,
I'd
here
like
we
to thank everybody for tuning in. I really do appreciate each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
Yes. So I just pulled up on the screen, Diana. So people can I'm gonna also, we all know is Dianna Knox-Cooper with us, but I do want to change. And I put a QR code down there. The QR code, I believe, is for book number 2. But let me put up here her website so you can go into her website and you can order her books. Okay. And then stand by because we're going to set up a pre-sale campaign so you can also get her book number 3 um on the Potter's Wheel. So, can you guys see all this? Living on the Potter's Wheel, that's her book number 3. So, her pre-sale campaign, Diana, we should have that available and ready to go for people to purchase a pre-order of your copy by next week, and then they'll be
Okay.
able to
Awesome.
yes, they'll be able to get it before everybody else can, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
please make sure you get your copies. Make sure you read about her stories. So let me just pull Diana back into this because I want some, Diana, what is it that you want to leave with the audience? And before you answer, let me pull you up in screen.
Okay.
What is it that you want to leave with the audience?
If God gives you a yes, it doesn't matter who else tells you no. Stand on the yes.
Mm, I love it. I love it.
Yep. Stand on
She
the yes.
she done said it all. Just gonna endorse it and confirm it. And if you did not check out the coffee break, talking about the power of your yes, and it talks about the no, in a whole
Yep.
separate coffee break, make sure you
Yep.
go back into our YouTube. And if you have not subscribed, it's in the description. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have hit our 10,000 mark followers, and we're moving on to our next milestone of 20,000. So, but make sure you go back and just go through some of the coffee breaks, and I hope they resonate with you. But Diana, it has truly been a blessing. Now, everyone out there that's chiming in, if there's any comments you want to say, if this has resonated with you, if you now are starting to clearly see the power of your story, it will heal.
That's
So
right.
just hit me up. Let me know. We'll wait a few moments to see what you have to say. but I do appreciate the community. I appreciate everybody so much for taking the time, sneaking away at their jobs or whatever you may be
Yes,
doing at this 10:30 Eastern Standard Time hour to be able to have coffee with us. And
yes,
so
yes, yes.
please make sure you pick up when I say these books is a must read. And I know you felt it from this conversation. If you did not catch the whole conversation, it's okay. On any of these platforms, you could just play it right back. So make sure you check it out. And you know what? I advise you to even send it to somebody because you never know
That's
who needs
right.
this.
That's right.
And,
That's
and
right.
so,
I
go
had
ahead.
one reader. I think she purchased um about five for Christmas gifts, and then I had one gentleman, and I want to give him a shout out, Mr. Robert Hodge. If you are looking, he has he advocated for me
Hmm.
on for the TV stations in Albany, the radio stations in Albany, and I lost count of the number of books he purchased from me for
Oh,
other
wow.
people. I lost count. So
That's what
I
I'm talking
appreciate him so much for that.
you
Yeah,
keep informing those that are out there listening that it is so important to share your story. If
it
you
is.
have strength and the courage, even if you don't, I think, Dianna, and you correct me if I'm wrong, when you thought about even writing your story, did you think about it from the standpoint you wanted the world to receive it, or were you thinking about it from the standpoint you just needed to write it and get it out of you?
I think it was more so I wanted to write it to get it out of me. I wanted to be heard. I wanted it was so much inside of me. And I remember the day that I told my dad initially that I was going to write a book. When I told him that, I kind of wanted a reaction from him at that time to say,
Mm.
well, what are you going to write about? And I was like, Daddy, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to tell everything. And he was like, okay. It's like, that's not what I wanted. I wanted
Yeah.
him to talk to me to try to figure out, okay, what is it you're going to write about? But he didn't at that time. He didn't. Um, but I really needed to just get it out. I was so full. I
You
needed it out of me.
you just said something. You said I was writing it because you needed to be heard.
Right.
Remember, you were a little girl.
Yeah.
Of what age? How old were you when you started really encountering a lot of the trauma that you experienced? How old were you?
I was 4 because I was 4 when my mom passed away. So that, of course,
Yes.
it started right then. Yeah.
So when you just said, "I started writing because I needed to be heard," it's like you had suppressed
Right.
so much for so long. It's like the water was so hot. It was I mean, it had just came to a point, you know how a teapot, when the pressure becomes so much, it starts screaming, the
Yes.
teapot.
Yes.
That's how
Yes.
when you said that, that's how it felt like I just had to get this out in
It had to
some
get it out.
way, shape, or form.
Right.
But think about it. What if your dad did respond a different way? Would he have shut you down? So maybe God knew what he was doing when he didn't give you the
Yeah.
response you were looking for.
That's right. Because, even prior to then living at home, and this is in a lot of families
Mhm.
where whatever happens in the house stays in the house. And it could have been one of those moments with him, but God didn't allow that to
Abs
happen with
abs
him. And I do want to say that the book that actually got published or printed was not the first book that I wrote. That was the third version of it.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I think in the first two, those were for me.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
then number three was for everybody else.
I'm
Hmm.
glad you said that, because I just said this to someone else that's really going through a hard time, not knowing how to deal with a lot of their pain. And I said that very thing. I said, if nothing else, tell your story to yourself.
Hmm.
because sometimes you need to hear your
That's
story,
right. That's
you
right.
know? Write it for you, not for the purpose for the world to see it, because the world will probably make you feel worse than you feel now,
That's
not
right. They will.
wanting to judge you, but write it for yourself, and you'll find that your healing journey could start just in the words you're putting down on paper. And most people, like yourself, said once you started writing it, reliving a lot of it, even though you didn't want to have to, you started really seeing the areas of your healing, what you have overcome, what you still needed to work on, but it was so therapeutic for you.
Very,
Whew,
very,
girl,
very. I tell you what, it taught me resilience too.
definitely.
Because everybody didn't agree. You know, everybody didn't agree, and they still don't. Some people don't agree with what I did, but I was obedient to the call of God on my life, and I still am. And so they could take it up with God.
Amen. Amen. So it no longer becomes your fight to even
It's
respond to.
not my fight. It's
Listen,
not my
those people
fight.
got Diana, when we get together, we can talk for hours,
Ours.
hours. It's like peeling back layers.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes. Every
but
time. God is good.
there'll be many more coffee breaks for Diana to join us in studio. But I so appreciate you. I do. I really, and I think you know that.
I do. And I thank you. And you know I appreciate you, honey.
Yes.
That was a divine appointment way back when. I don't even remember the year. And we sat beside each other at that conference at two
Yeah.
different tables, back to back.
And
Yep.
you never know. You never know where God is going to extend the opportunity, the open doors, the relationships. You don't know. Just stay open.
That's
Just stay
right.
open and show up correctly. Right?
Yes. That's exactly right. Yes.
Whatever that looks like for you.
That's
But
right.
thank you so much. Make sure you all go and get a copy. I left her Facebook page up here so you can go join her on her Facebook page, and you'll be able to pull other information from there. But thank you all so much. I love you all so much in the community. Make sure you share the information and join me on another coffee break. I'll be
Yes.
here Monday through Fridays. And like I said, I am working on consistency, and I think I've been pretty good, even trying to get the time at a set time, 10:30. So Charlotte says, awesome, Dianna Knox-Cooper, proud of you.
Oh, thank
Tenarius
you.
says, God tells you, keep going forth. Yes. Yes.
All
So
right.
thank you for all your comments.
Thank
Today
you.
is Friday, so you know what? You got 2 days off. We'll be back in coffee breaks on Monday.
Okay. Thank you all.
All right, guys. See you soon. Oh, Vanessa says so many quotes, lessons, and affirmations are coming from this. I
Woo.
can't type that fast. Take it up with God. Yes. You know what? We're going to make sure we send out her clips right after this so you guys can share and comment on that. But yes, take it up with God.
Amen.
Amen. And we're going to leave it right there. Have a great weekend. Please be safe. And hopefully, I'll see you guys in the community on Monday. Bye now.
Thank you.
All right, Diana, stay on, okay?